Welcome to my top 5 games for 2013, and the reason why this video is going up a bit late is because I really want to get caught up on all the games that I missed, and for the most part I was able to do that. Now there was one game I was unable to play, and that was Beyond Two Souls. I do want to play it at some point when the price drops. I was a pretty big fan of Heavy Rain, Quantic Dream's previous game, but I just don't think it's actually worth $60 because essentially you're pretty much buying a $60 film, something that just, you know, as good as Heavy Rain was, I just don't think it was worth $60. And plus the critical reception for Beyond Two Souls wasn't nowhere near as high as Heavy Rain's, so I'm just gonna wait till the price drops. So without further ado, I'm just gonna get started with my list. Starting off at number 5 is a game I played very recently, and that is Starbreeze Studios' Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons. After recently becoming a PlayStation Plus member, one of the perks of being a member is having the opportunity to play a selection of great games for free every month. Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons is currently among those titles for the PlayStation 3. The game is a simple puzzle and platformer, however what makes Brothers different from every other game of its style are the controls for its two protagonists. The left analog stick controls the older brother, while the right analog stick controls the younger brother. It's the ambition of this control scheme that creates an awkward experience nonetheless, but after playing for about an hour it gets much easier and even adds to the experience. But perhaps the main reason why Brothers makes my list is because of its simple yet diverse, astonishing art style and level design, which I believe is worth playing alone. Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons is a game that shouldn't be missed out on for those who are enchanted by games of this style. Number 4 is Galactic Cafe's The Stanley Parable HD Remake. Before I get started talking about this simple yet extraordinary piece of work, I have a confession. I've yet had the pleasure of playing this game on an available format. Now hear me out, for the Stanley Parable's gameplay is far from intricate. In fact, it's actually incredibly simple. I'm not going to go into detail, but just take my word that the Stanley Parable is the kind of game that anyone can appreciate without even actually playing it. Now what's one of the many impressive feats of the Stanley Parable is the overwhelming variety of plot points, and I'm proud to say that I've witnessed every single one of them, and all of them are fantastic. And that's the reason why the Stanley Parable makes my list. The writing in this game is very witty and is nothing short of pure thought-provoking brilliance. I watched an entire playthrough and I honestly couldn't get enough of it. And the narration by Kevin Briding, who narrates Stanley's every move, is just damn perfect. So now we've reached the top 3 games on my list, and if I were to make a top 10 list right now of my all-time favorite games, all 3 of these games would have a spot somewhere on my list because all 3 games, I believe, are nothing short of incredible. So at number 3 is Irrational Games' BioShock Infinite. I love the first BioShock, and although I may be among the minority, I love Infinite even more. This classic Disney-like tale with a dark adult twist is very well among my all-time favorite games. I love the visuals, I love the characters, I love the writing and direction by Kevin Levine, I love the voice work by Troy Baker, Courtney Draper, and cohorts, I love the score by Gary Skyman, and furthermore, I just love this game. BioShock Infinite is an example of a classic. Now my pick for number 2 may be a bit of a shocker to some people, considering that this is the kind of game that's gotten a ton of love from everyone, including myself. Everyone has played it, been playing it, whatever. And this game, I believe, is one of the best games of all time. It's an extraordinary piece of work, and that game is of course Rockstar North's Grand Theft Auto 5. I love Grand Theft Auto. Hell, it's my favorite gaming series of all time. And why is that? Because, well, it's just so damn fun. And with Grand Theft Auto 5, Rockstar continues to revolutionize all of gaming. Yes, the online is far from perfect, but I'd be lying if I said this entire game wasn't some sort of gaming godsend. The world in Grand Theft Auto 5 is massive, with an extraordinary amount of detail and activity to boot, and it's the combination of all of this is what makes Grand Theft Auto 5 the immersive game that it is. Not only that, but it's also the game's brilliant use of satire on American culture. And although sometimes it doesn't always hit its mark, for the very most part, Grand Theft Auto 5 has great, smart, and witty writing. Make no mistake, Grand Theft Auto 5 is a masterpiece, and if you're a gamer who owns a 360 or a PS3 and you haven't played this yet, then why the hell haven't you? This is a must play. Alright, so now we've reached my number 1 pick for the best game of 2013, and that is Naughty Dog's The Last of Us. You want to know what the definition of perfection is? Then you should probably take a look at The Last of Us, for this is a game that is the closest to it. Now I'm not going to pretend that this all doesn't sound ridiculous, premature, and incredibly hyperbolic, because it does, but honestly, I love love this game. When I played this game back in June, I was totally unprepared for the game I was about to experience. The Last of Us swept the rug right out from under me and showed me what a video game can look like when great gameplay, visuals, sound, music, and most importantly, superb writing come together to create an experience that's just not available in any other medium. Now, I could use this time to talk about the sensational, even Oscar-worthy performances by Troy Baker and Ashley Johnson, or the flawless writing and direction by Neil Druckmann, but I would like to end on this note. The late great film critic Roger Ebert was right about many things, but he once made a somewhat controversial statement surrounding the topic of art in video games. You see, he not only claimed that video games are not art, but he also made an ill-informed statement by saying they can never be art. Now, despite how stubborn Ebert could sometimes appear to be, if he were alive today and had played The Last of Us, regardless whether or not he would have admitted it, I believe The Last of Us would have changed his mind. For The Last of Us, in my opinion, is the very definition of art, and a fine piece of art it is. It's among the most emotionally gripping experiences I've ever had, and not just a game, but quite literally anywhere. The Last of Us is not only my pick for 2013, but it also gets my pick for best game in the history of video games. And that's that. So yeah, I absolutely love The Last of Us. I think it's an extraordinary piece of work. I think it's going to be something that's really going to stand the test of time. I think it's going to leave its mark in the history of video games, and I think video games are actually going to build off of The Last of Us, considering how great the writing is. It's that good. Now, if you're someone who owns a PS3 and you like great games, great movies, or you just like great storytelling, then I highly recommend checking out this game, because this is, I mean, it really is, it's a masterpiece. And I know claiming something to be the best of anything when it hasn't even been out a year yet, I know that sounds premature and hyperbolic like I said earlier, but there really has yet been a day where The Last of Us just doesn't casually go through my mind. I mean, the game has had that much of an impact on me. I really could talk about The Last of Us for hours on end. I'm not going to do that because, well, I'm just going to end the video by saying that 2013 was a year of quality, not quantity. And I think that's actually a pretty good thing, because although the quantity was quite low, the quality was actually quite high, because like I said, the top 3 games, I mean, those would all have a spot in my top 10 list of all time. And I say that because I believe they all are that great. So that's it for my 2013 list. I hope you enjoyed it. 2014 looks to be very promising with the release of the next-gen consoles. This next gen looks to be very exciting indeed, so I can't wait to see where it takes us. So yeah, that's it. I'm Colyn Kirkland, and thank you so much for watching.